see my screen?
Yes, it's perfect. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, thank you to Gianni, Christian, and DBI Services for organizing this event. I'm very happy to be able to come and, well, to come. I'm staying at home. I don't have to go anywhere, but to speak here. So I'm going to talk to you about multimedia with Apex and Oracle. Now, I'm sorry, I'm having a small screen issue here, but it'll probably go. Okay. So my name is Niall Phillips. I'm the owner of a company called Longacre, and I'm based in Geneva, in Switzerland. I'm also co-owner of a company called Stevenson and Associates that we founded in 1995. I'm an Oracle ace, otherwise I wouldn't be speaking here with you today. And I've been working with the Oracle database since 1989. That's more than 30 years. That's a long time. I started creating web applications in 1995 using the Oracle Web Toolkit, and started developing with Apex when it used to be called HTML-DB in 2005. And I organized the Swiss Apex meetup group. So, just a word about the ACE program. The ACE program is a program of people who want to share their knowledge with other Oracle users worldwide. We're all Oracle enthusiasts. We love what we're doing, and the ACE program is there for that. If you know somebody that you'd want to nominate to the ACE program, there's a URL where you can nominate people to the ACE program. Now, today, I don't know how many of you know, today is a special day. It's the 4th of May. So, well, at least that's what we normal people call it. But the Americans call it May the 4th. And, of course, May the 4th means we have to have the obligatory reference, May the 4th be with you. That's Star Trek, isn't it? Hold on. How about this? Star Wars, May the 4th be with you. So, this is our May the 4th day. So, let's talk about Oracle Multimedia. Oracle Multimedia has always been a part of Oracle since 1997, came out with Oracle 8. It's been an integral part of all Oracle databases up until 18C, and that's very important, stopped at 18C. It was a one-stop shop. Everything was there inside of the database. So it was implemented mostly through object types inside the database. These object types, as I said, are in all editions up to 18C. And if you've ever been exploring your database and you've seen a schema called ORDSys, this was the Oracle Multimedia schema. It was a native type, so you could actually declare columns of tables as being of types which are associated with Oracle Multimedia. These were some of the native types that we had. There was audio, documents, images, video, DICOM for medical imagery, and a common one called source, which would have, for example, the image, the type in turn contained another type, a source type, plus various different attributes. And very importantly, we got a lot of methods that came with Oracle Multimedia. So some very interesting methods like get content format, get content length, get metadata. So get metadata was a very important one for us. Process that would allow us to transform images and so on. So we have this beautiful tool called Oracle Multimedia, I first started using it in 2003. So, and like I said, it was born in 1997. It lived a happy life for almost 24 years. But it was desupported and removed as of 19C. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. What to do about Oracle Multimedia, because today Oracle Multimedia is dead. So we're all very sad to see Oracle Multimedia go away, but life goes on, we must move ahead. And as people say, when the king dies, the king is dead, long live the king. Oracle Multimedia is dead, so long live Multimedia using Apex and Oracle. So let me talk to you about a project that I was involved in. It was actually the first project that I did using Oracle Multimedia. It was developed on Oracle 9i in 2003, pre-Apex days, and it was developed using the Field SQL Web Toolkit and Oracle Multimedia. It recently got redeveloped in 2017. Unfortunately, we didn't know Oracle Multimedia was going away at that time. And so there was a redevelopment of this project. It was a project that had a multimedia front end and back end. Both in the redevelopment, both were developed in Apex. So let's take a look. Let me see if I can find. So this is the Apex application. It's a public-facing application. It's got about 40,000 pictures in it, dating back over a century now. And it's sorted in a lot of different ways. Let's take a look at, for example, all the countries. So here we have pictures from countries around the world. Let me just pick one. Here we are, Uzbekistan. And we can see some pictures here. All of these pictures are being served dynamically from the database. So click, we have them in different sizes. The first size is a thumbnail size. This is a full size, a normal size, if you like, a web size, as we call it. And I could also download a high resolution version of this picture. Look at the high resolution version. We'll see that if I view actual size, you can see it really is very high resolution. So get rid of my README. So this is the application that we're trying to make sure that it works in a post-Oracle Multimedia world. So what are our priorities? We want to leverage the existing infrastructure. So that means we want to use the Oracle database and everything that we already have in place about this. We're storing approximately 40,000 photos. There's more photos coming in all the time. The dates, the photos, like I said, they go back over a century. It's very important for us that we store the high resolution images with zero manipulation, exactly as they come to us. As soon as they get into the database, we then automatically resize them for web size, for data size. Sometimes we will watermark them if they're sensitive pictures, like pictures of children, they get watermarked so that they don't get reused out of context. And very importantly for us is that when professional photographers take pictures, they often add metadata into those pictures in automatic or semi-automatic ways. The metadata could be the names of the people who are in the picture, it could be the title of the picture, it could be the place it was taken, and so on. So we wanted to be able to automatically extract this metadata and update the database so that it will be searchable via Oracle text and other search methods. So in a post-Oracle Multimedia world, what did we really need to do? We need to be able to resize the images, one. We need to be able to overlay text and graphics on top of the images. And we need to be able to extract the metadata. Now, the metadata, as I said, is the data that photographers have embedded into their pictures. So we started searching for alternatives. So in the non-Oracle world, there are a lot of alternatives. There's a lot of things out there that you can do using JavaScript, Python, Ruby, and so on. We wanted to stay inside the Oracle ecosystem, so we're looking at how to do this and to disrupt our existing applications in a minimum way. So we started looking at REST-enabled alternatives. So we felt that this would be a good fit for what we were trying to do. So today, the images were being manipulated inside the database. So the resizing, watermarking, etc., was all being done inside the database. Obviously, if we're using REST services, this will be done outside of the database. But keeping it in the database allows us to keep our data, especially our metadata that we have stripped from the pictures, and all the data that we use for searching inside of our Oracle system. So first thing we have to do is to replace all of the Oracle Multimedia columns in the database with blobs and to process them in the cloud, and also, of course, change our tables. So for cloud processing, we're going to look at a provider called Cloudinary. Now, this is by no means an endorsement of Cloudinary. It's, excuse me. Cloudinary is a one provider amongst many. And here, let me quickly show you some of the others. So we have Menno Hugendijk from the Oracle Apex team, who did a very good blog post back in October about different alternatives. And again, he talks about client-side JavaScript alternatives and server-side alternatives using REST, the REST approach. So there are several frameworks which are free, so you can set up your own REST server. There are some other open source projects that allow you to do a self-hosted server. And there are cloud-based solutions which can offer REST APIs that you can call from SQL, which is what we're going to do today. So Cloudinary is the one that I picked for these demos for the simple reason that my client already has a relationship with Cloudinary, and so it was very easy for us to get set up on them. So if we look at the Cloudinary API, we see that they have a very good and well-documented RESTful API that covers not just photos and so on, but also covers video and other areas. So here, for example, we could look at the reference, the API reference for uploading into Cloudinary, and we can see we have different parameters, different endpoints, and so on that we can call. So let's get back to our. So we're working with Cloudinary. We're going to use the API using REST services. So Today, I'm going to use the Oracle Autonomous Cloud because it's there, it works, it's free for up to 2 databases. So I've created an application, I've created an image upload region, and I've created a variety of different report regions. So I'm going to walk you through this shortly. First of all, I created a table which contains various metadata I wanted about the photos, plus 3 columns, one for each of the different sizes. Please don't judge my data modeling skills on this table. I've done this for simplicity, not for, I'm not in any way saying this is the right way to do this for a production system. So we created a little region that had a browse for uploading the photo, had an ID that was hidden, and a button. Now, in Apex, when you upload any type of a file, it gets copied into a table called Apex Application Temp Files. So we immediately move it out of that table into our own table and add a few data on the way. So what I've done is declared a page process to upload an image. But let's go to the application. Let's take a look. Let's hope I haven't timed out since the start of the session. Yeah. Well, refresh. Just make sure I'm still logged in. I am. Great. Okay. So this is the little application that I've made. So we start out here with a simple upload. So I'll take a picture. Let's say cows. Okay, here's a picture of cows. Here, I'll upload the photo. This is where I get worried about doing live demos when things take longer than they should. There we go. The photo has been uploaded, and here I have a simple plastic report that says, here's a photo, I've given it ID number 1, this is the size of the photo, it's a JPEG image, this was the file name, and this is when it was updated. So let's have a quick look at that page. So here we got a very simple little process. It makes an ID, inserts into the picture, into the table, and selecting from application temp files and inserting the blob content as the actual photo itself. Then it cleans up the application temp files, and that's it. So very simple, not very pretty. So we say, no, I want to see the photo. Okay, fine, let's do something different. We go to a page called Big Photo, which is page 2. And here, in the classic report, we've downloaded the photos here. So let's see how that looks. Wow, that's, I mean, when I said big photo, that's a big photo because it's taking up all that space. This isn't very good either. So how did we download this? So just a standard little report like that was showing the photo. here we saw the insert from the previous one. This was the traffic report. And so I have a technique I've been using for a long time, which is to write myself this procedure to show these photos. So here is a procedure which I've written called show photo. Given the ID, it will read the photo from the database, output the correct MIME header with the length of the photo, and then immediately start downloading the photo to your browser. Now, because this is a standalone PL/SQL, it must be granted to the ORDS public user or Apex public user if you're running on a non-ORDS server. So this will be the basis for most of my photos for now. So if I want to see the photo, I can modify the report by putting image source in there, or to put the size. Let's go back to our browser. Go back to running page 2. So this is too big. So let's say I'm going to force the size of this photo. So here we can see it's very, very slow. And the reason it's very slow is that all that I've done here to force the size is just say in the report, I just said width equals 300. Now, what this means is that the entire photo, even though it's a huge photo, is still being transmitted, and your browser is making the width smaller. So we don't want to have to transmit all this data all the time when we're doing reports of photos. And like I said, when we're dealing with thousands of photos, this becomes obviously a big deal. So this is forcing sizes in this way is not always the best. So adding width equals 300 is not a good way because the full resolution has been passed. We don't want to pass the full resolution just for a thumbnail. So idea then was to work with Cloudinary. So create a second page process that would upload the photo to Cloudinary using Apex Web Service and REST API. So we're very lucky that the Oracle Autonomous Cloud already has the Cloudinary certificates installed. But if you are doing this on an XE or on an on-premises database, you'll need, first of all, to import the Cloudinary certificate into an Oracle wallet, and also you want to make sure that all your network ACLs are configured to allow you to make the web service call. So to upload to Cloudinary, this is the process that we have to pass the URL of the full resolution to Cloudinary. So I make a REST request, and I give it the URL, which is this show photo thing. Oops, sorry. This show photo thing that I'm procedure that I showed earlier, and I'm passing the ID of what was uploaded there. So this is telling Cloudinary there is a photo at this URL. You can pick it up and upload it into Cloudinary. This upload preset that you're seeing here, that's sort of an API key that I'm using. So this CLOB receives the JSON response after the upload. And this is what the JSON response looks like. So you get a public ID, we get a signature, it tells us the width. This is great, we're already getting some data. It tells us the width, it tells us the height, it tells us the size, the number of bytes in the picture, and it gives us two URLs, a secure and a non-secure URL for retrieving that data from Cloudinary. So using the data that we just got back in this plot, in this C-log, I then parse using apex.json parse the C-log, and I pull out the pieces of data I want. I want the URL, I want the width, I want the height, I want the format, and I put all these into my table. So this is great. We've already got some data. So let's take a look. So here we can see the photo with the actual URL of the photo that has just been uploaded. And if we look at the processes, we'll see that this is the process that I've just shown you. It's made the REST request, which has moved the data into Cloudinary. It's parsed the JSON result and has put some of those data that it has parsed into the table. So next step, we now want to resize the picture. We don't want to be passing high resolution pictures across the HTTP all the time, just clogging up our bandwidth. We want to resize it so we can have a 300 pixel one. So we add another process that will call Cloudinary to resize that picture. Now in Cloudinary, if we want to do that and preserve the aspect ratio, we add the W_300 to the URL. And then we save the result in a column that we've called thumbnail. So this is what we do. We have sent we have the URL, which we got from the previous process and which is stored in the table. It's called uploaded URL. So now we're creating a new URL for our REST request, which is this URL here, plus the upload preset. And here, instead of saying upload, we're saying upload W300. So we're taking the URL we got from here and changing it slightly to say W300. So we make our REST request, and that will give us back a C-log. You can see I was debugging this at one time. And then we parse that C-log, and we get the secure URL to the new resized thumbnail. And when we're getting the thumbnail, we make another REST request, but this time, you notice it's not make REST request as it is here. We're making REST request _B, because our result is actually a B-log. We're getting back the photo itself as a result. So once we have the photo back, we then put it into the table, and we have our transformed photo. Let's take a look at that. So making a thumbnail. Let's take a different photo this time. Where are we? Snow. Let's take a picture of some snow. So here we see it's just uploaded the picture of some snow here. This is the URL. But if I do a right click and say open image in new tab, we'll see it's no longer the full size photo. It is actually a resized photo. So if I inspected the properties, I would see that it is actually a 300 pixel photo. So back to my So I created a new procedure called show thumbnail, which is just another call to show photo. And by calling show thumbnail instead of show photo, it showed the report. So next thing is to add a watermark to an image. As I said earlier, some sensitive images we want to add watermarks to make sure that they're not misused. So again, this is done with a simple REST call. In this case, it's saying L text. We say what font we want, what size, and the text that we want in for the watermark. And then I save the resulting photo in a column called watermark. So let's have a quick demo of that. I've lost my browser. We're here. So if I make a watermark, I'll pick a file. Take this nice bridge, and the watermark I'm going to say, let's not say it's at home, it's may or and upload. This is when the seconds feel really long. Yeah. So here we have a picture I just uploaded with the watermark that we wanted on the picture. So if I say view image in new tab, we can see that the image is watermarked. It's not a CSS overlay or anything like that. I'm having a little bit of PowerPoint issue here. Here we are. So the final thing that we want to do is extract the metadata. Cloud Memory does have an API to allow the metadata to be extracted, but I'm currently using the free part of Cloud Memory for our demo, and this is part of the paid one. So take my word for it about this. But I'm going to come back to metadata shortly. But if you want to see what metadata is in an image, here, for example, is a title. Here we have things like date of creation, we have descriptions, and so on. These are the sort of data that we want to strip out. Here we have keywords, and so on. These are the sort of data that we want to find as metadata. So in our case, these were the things we were looking for. These were some of the keywords. And then Cloud Memory allows us to do all of these. So this is the proof. Let's look at the example where we pulled all of this together. So here we have the thumbnail, watermark, and modal. So we do everything in one. So let's take a file. Try this one. We'll add in a watermark saying this is at home. We'll upload the picture. It's probably not going to work because it's a PNG. Oh, it worked. Hey. So here we have the picture in thumbnail format. Here we have the watermark version. And if we click here, we have the original version. So we can pull everything together this way. So as I said in the beginning, Cloudinary is just one choice amongst many choices of these cloud providers. You can also do a self-hosted version where there would be no fees involved. Basically, the thing to know is that you can call from inside of using the RESTful services. You can call from the Oracle database, transform your images, and get them back. Now, is it as fast as Oracle Multimedia used to be? No, because it's not happening in the database. It was happening in the database, now it's not. So there are some interesting initiatives happening. And there's two companies who are very, very active in the Apex area who have come out with two different products. So one is from Apex R&D, who are the makers of Apex Office Print. And they've made something called Apex Media Extension. And Apex Media Extension is both a server side and a client side approach to this. And so for me, for example, in replacing the PL/SQL in my existing application would be very easy to do using Apex Media Extension. So the other very new one, it's only been out for a few weeks, is from Foex, which is a company very, very well known in the whole Apex field, who have done the Foex plugin framework which is for form style applications and so on. They've produced something called a file upload and image editor. And this is also very, very interesting. So let's just take a quick look at these two. So if we look at the homepage for the Apex Media Extension, we can see it tells us all the things it can do: resizing images, cropping, compressing, changing grayscale, reading metadata, which is quite important for my particular project, maybe not for everybody. So it's in general, I've managed to get my hands on this a few months ago, and I've been quite happy with what I found. So the other one is Foex. So here, if we look, for example, at the features of Foex, we can see they have some very interesting things. They have image editing, again, resizing, splitting images and so on, image annotation, file uploading, and something I found very interesting. I haven't had a chance to experiment with it yet, but this idea of streaming the file uploading so that you can upload in the background while things are going on. It'll allow a lot of other things, editing existing files and so on. So this is a much more of a front end than a database type application, but again, very impressive. And it's great to see the Apex community come out and solve this problem, which Oracle have given us by abandoning Oracle Multimedia. So on the Apex Media Extension, I just have a little piece of code here. So in fact, because they give an API that converts images, all I need to do to convert an image, for example, to a 300 pixel image is this one line, one call, and their package takes care of the rest. So for me, as a PL/SQL centric developer, this makes me very happy. So, okay, so to conclude, Oracle Multimedia is going away. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. I've tried, believe me, but we can't. And but there are many alternatives out there, both inside and outside the Oracle ecosystem. And your use case will decide the approach you take. Now, the use case I just presented to you is for an existing database with all the images already in an Oracle database. Your use case may not be that. Maybe you want to put your images onto S3. Maybe you want to put your images, leave them in the cloud somewhere. It's up to you to decide that. But now you can see that there are tools out there, both from the Apex community and other third-party REST service providers that will help you with that. Okay, thank you all very much. And please ask any questions.
So there are no questions at the moment, at least. Okay. Nothing posted.
Well, I must have been so clear that nobody has any questions to ask.
That can definitely be the case. So thank you very much, Niall, for the presentation.
Thank you all, and stay safe, everybody.